Good afternoon. My name is Cindy Casey Holman, and I'm a registered nurse with a background in critical care. And currently, I direct the Charles E. Holman Morgellons Disease Foundation. That's a nonprofit organization. It's named in honor of my late husband, Charles, and it's dedicated to empowering Morgellons patients through research and education. And I am also a Morgellons patient myself. I'd like to thank Claire Palmer and all of the organizers of this conference for inviting me to present a trailer from our exciting new documentary film, Skin Deep, The Battle Over Morgellons. But first, I'd like to tell you just a little bit about Morgellons because it is truly unusual and interesting condition, and some of you may not be familiar with it at all. Morgellons is a dermopathy, a skin condition, and it's characterized by the presence of multicolored filaments that lie under, are embedded in, or protruding from the skin. The filaments can be blue, red, black, or clear, and are best visualized using a handheld scope at 50 to 100x magnification. But sometimes the filaments can be seen with the naked eye. The symptoms of Morgellons include intense itching, stinging, painful skin lesions, which are very, very slow to heal. Patients often report that they feel as though something is crawling beneath their skin. Many patients will develop the mistaken belief that they have worms or insects or something crawling in their skin. Now, lesions can appear anywhere on the body, and some can become very disfiguring when patients are left untreated. Some patients report changes in their hair texture and loss of hair, especially when lesions are on the scalp. The skin becomes very, very sensitive to touch, and it's important to mention too that not all Morgellons patients develop these skin lesions. Some patients actually produce the fibers and the shed debris from unbroken skin. But in addition to the skin symptoms, Morgellons patients have all of the symptoms of Lyme disease, like profound fatigue, brain fog, headaches, migratory joint and muscle pains, and the list goes on and on. And so what has research shown us? Well, in 2012, the CDC, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, did an investigation which concluded what dermatologists had been saying all along, that no infectious agent was detected, and that Morgellons has many similarities to a psychiatric condition known as delusions of parasitosis, or the false belief that insects are crawling in your skin. The CDC study had many methodological flaws, but they are all detailed in the film, so I'm not going to go into them here. This widely publicized conclusion of the CDC, it quieted the voices of Morgellons patients, and it made it nearly impossible to raise funds for further research. It pretty much closed the door to any further studies. It took away our hope. But we have risen, and currently there are well over a dozen Morgellons studies in the medical literature, closely associating Morgellons with Borrelia spirochetes. Borrelia has been detected in the skin lesions by multiple scientists in multiple labs using multiple techniques, including culture, the gold standard. In fact, Borrelia is a common denominator, and it's been detected in virtually every single Morgellons study subject. Some have relapsing fever Borrelia, while some have Lyme disease Borrelia, and some have both in biofilms in the skin. Other pathogens have been detected on a significant number of Morgellons patients, and those include Helicobacter pylori, Bartonella species, and Treponema denticola. Now, multiple studies have characterized the unusual filaments. So now we know that they are products of our body's own cells, and they're composed of the proteins, collagen, and keratin. Our cells are making way too much collagen and keratin. The blue filaments are known to get their color from melanin. And the origin of the red color and other colors, it remains a mystery. So we still have a ways to go with researching Morgellons. Two separate studies have shown that Morgellons is a skin manifestation which occurs in 6% of Lyme disease patients. Veterinary research has also shown that Morgellons occurs in dogs as well, complete with the fibers and the detection of Borrelia. So why the battle over Morgellons? Well, even worse than all of these life-changing symptoms of borreliosis and Morgellons is that we have been ridiculed by the medical establishment. Morgellons patients are still being given a knee-jerk delusional diagnosis, and it's usually given by a dermatologist who has refused to look at the evidence because they are so sure that they are right and that we are all crazy. The only treatment being offered to Morgellons patients are antipsychotics, while the raging infection goes ignored. Now, the common misdiagnosis of Morgellons patients is delusions of parasitosis, which I went over. Monosymptomatic hypochondriasis is another one. And that's when you suddenly become a hypochondriac, but only about this one symptom. And the other one is self-mutilation. Many patients have been accused by doctors of doing this to themselves and actually causing their own skin lesions. Morgellons patients desperately seek health care, but the only physicians who will take these symptoms seriously and treat the underlying infections are the ILADS, International Lyme and Associated Disease Society trained doctors. And insurance usually doesn't cover that treatment. Treatment is usually long-term, and it's too expensive for the average person. And many patients are left with nowhere to turn, and they resort to treating themselves with dangerous and toxic concoctions. Morgellons patients may be the most cruelly victimized and stigmatized of all tick-borne disease. Once several doctors deem you crazy, then your friends and family begin to believe the doctors. Marriages fall apart, and in some cases, children are removed from the home because the parent has been diagnosed as delusional. Without treatment, Morgellons patients become too sick to work and can lose their homes, and with no support system, they eventually lose hope to the point that many have given up on ever getting any help and have taken their own lives. Morgellons patients are 800 times more likely to commit suicide than the average population. Now, there is a psychiatric component to Morgellons. Yes, Morgellons patients exhibit all of the neurological and psychiatric manifestations of long-term spirochetal infection. So there can be some psychiatric things going on, but doctors need to discern between psychosomatic and somatopsychic. My foundation, the Charles E. Holman Morgellons Disease Foundation, we help to fund scientific research, provide medical education. We hold an annual conference each year in the US, which is in Austin, Texas, and we hold an annual conference in Europe. In the past 2 years, it's been in Augsburg, Germany. Now, we do educational booths at conferences, and we provide patient support and help people to find a doctor who will treat Morgellons. We raise awareness in any way we can find through articles or interviews or conferences. But the past 5 years, we've been diligently working with an amazing film team and an Emmy Award-winning filmmaker, Pi Ware, and his group of very talented people to create a documentary film. And that's what we're going to show the trailer of today. This documentary will tell the truth about Morgellons and will indeed stir your every emotion. We hope it will garner empathy from the world about a disease that has been historically dismissed and about a patient population who's been cruelly rejected by the medical community. It tells my story, and it tells the story of others and the battle we face in trying to access medical care. Skin Deep dives deep into the denialism that conventional medicine has towards emerging illnesses and how this attitude can have severe consequences for patients caught in the middle. The film recently received a standing ovation at a film festival in Los Angeles. And Skin Deep was recently screened at the ILADS meeting in Boston, and the reviews have been phenomenal. Educational DVDs of this film, which are licensed for screenings at libraries, colleges, support groups, conferences, and anywhere you can get a group of people together to watch this movie. The video is available on the website, and you definitely want to check this website out. This is the website for the film, www.morgellonsmovie.org. Whether or not you can host a screening, please go to that website and check this out, morgellonsmovie.org. You can read more about Skin Deep. One participant in this film is a scholar from the UK whose specialty is contested illness. So I'd like you to read about Harry Quinn Schoen, who has a very important role in the film. Thanks again for having me, and I think that's about it for now.